just in the last day, the last 2 days, we have gotten 3 new candidates for the Republican nomination for president. First new candidate up for the Republican presidential nomination came out just moments before I started this show today. Former South Carolina governor, former ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley.
Republicans have lost the popular vote in 7 out of the last 8 presidential elections. That has to change. Joe Biden's record is abysmal, but that shouldn't come as a surprise. The Washington establishment has failed us over and over and over again. It's time for a new generation of leadership to rediscover fiscal responsibility, secure our border, and strengthen our country, our pride, and our purpose. Some people look at America and see vulnerability. The socialist left sees an opportunity to rewrite history. China and Russia are on the march. They all think we can be bullied, kicked around. You should know this about me. I don't put up with bullies. And when you kick back, it hurts them more if you're wearing heels. I'm Nikki Haley, and I'm running for president.
All right, we got Nikki in the race. We knew that she was going to run, even though Nikki has a little bit of a problem in that she previously had said that if Trump runs for president, she would not run. Nobody really believed that. Politicians say that all the time. It seemed pretty clear that she was going to run. I know there are going to be a lot of conservatives who say, not a chance. I think Nikki Haley's too moderate. I'm not going to vote for her. The thing to remember, though, is the conservatives are not the only part of the Republican Party. There are a lot of moderates in the Republican Party. There are a lot of right-leaning kinds of people. And there is a push in general elections for more moderate candidates. Most Republican nominees in the last 70 years have been pretty moderate. Trump, not quite so much. But Romney, pretty moderate. McCain, pretty moderate. George W. Bush, pretty moderate. Bob Dole, pretty moderate. George H.W. Bush, pretty moderate. Ronald Reagan, more conservative. He was a little bit of an exception to that. Jerry Ford, pretty moderate. Richard Nixon, a little more conservative, but pretty moderate. Barry Goldwater, not so moderate. Though on social issues, actually, he was somewhat moderate. But Dwight Eisenhower, the centrists are the rule when it comes to the nomination. And so I think that's probably what Nikki Haley is seeing here. Nikki Haley is running, it would appear just from this ad, a relatively conventional campaign. And I suspect that's a strategy. I suspect the strategy is we've had a couple of very unconventional election cycles. People want to return to normalcy. That's why they voted for Joe Biden, if they voted for Joe Biden in 2020. And so we're going to give them a kind of strong on national defense, cut the taxes, bring everybody together sort of platform, conventional kind of campaign ad, present yourself in a way that is warm and inviting, but you know, you can still claim some conservative bona fides. I'm not saying it's going to work, but there is a lane for Nikki Haley. If people believe that there is not a lane for Nikki Haley, I think you are totally kidding yourself. And I happen to like Nikki Haley personally very much. I don't know how the field is going to shake out because the fact that she is entering into this race is just one more data point to show you everybody's going to enter. I think I am probably going to be the last, even somewhat public conservative and Republican who is not running in 2024. And really, that's only because I'm constitutionally ineligible right now because I'm too young. But if everyone is going to get in, okay? Tim Scott announced that he is going to get into the race, or at least it's being heavily floated by his team. This would be another example of someone saying, I'm not going to run, and then running. Tim Scott, when his memoir came out, I think it was last summer, the publisher accidentally leaked that he was preparing for a presidential run. And so that news leaked, and Tim Scott said, no, I'm absolutely not. It's not happening. Nobody believed that. We all knew that he was preparing a run, and that has just been leaking to the press again. And then a third person in the last 24 hours has floated that he's going to run. This would be a buddy of mine from college, actually, Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek Ramaswamy is a completely unconventional candidate. Vivek Ramaswamy is an entrepreneur. He's done very, very well for himself. He's an extremely intelligent guy, and he would be running as a businessman, as a guy who thinks a little bit outside of the box, as a guy who, kind of in the Andrew Yang / Donald Trump kind of way, I think, in that he hasn't held public office before, but do not underestimate this guy. This guy is very, very intelligent, very talented guy, very motivated. Some people are going to write him off as a long shot candidate. I think that would be a crazy thing to do, especially in this field. I personally think that it's wise for all of these people to get in, and especially for Vivek to get in. If Donald Trump had cleared the field, then he would be the nominee. If the race were Trump versus DeSantis, it would be a real shootout. Maybe DeSantis would even have an advantage, at least in the polling, if you look at it right now. But the fact that neither Trump nor DeSantis could scare everybody else off means that it's going to be a 20-person field. That's just what it means. And in a gigantic field, Trump actually has the advantage. If it were just Trump, that's good for Trump. If it were Trump versus DeSantis, that's bad for Trump because it's a head-to-head. If it were Trump versus DeSantis versus Haley versus Ramaswamy versus Tim Scott versus, Mike Pompeo versus Mike Pence versus maybe Ted Cruz, maybe who, all of a sudden Trump has the advantage again. And that's what you saw in 2016, where Trump was polling 30, 35%, but he just had a plurality. He had more than the other people did. My favorite thing about this field, people are always going to be trying to ask, well, who are you endorsing? I try to make a point as best I can not to endorse too much in primaries. But my favorite thing about this field is that right now, of the current and prospective candidates, I think most of them have endorsed my books. That's the main thing that matters to me right now about the field. Nikki, Mike Pompeo, Senator Cruz, I think there was one more, endorsed Speechless, Controlling Words, Controlling Minds, which is available now, #1 national bestseller. Thank you very much. President Trump endorsed my first book, Reasons to Vote for Democrats, A Comprehensive Guide, also available right now. I think I'm missing one or two. In any case, though, this is really, really important. This is the main thing. Forget about the economy, forget about immigration, forget about foreign policy. The main thing is right now we have a field that is shaping up where a huge number of them have a really, really great taste in books. So I'm very, very excited for the 2024 race. The rest of the show continues now. The member block is on. You don't want to miss it. Use code Knowles, KNWLES, at checkout for 2 months free on all annual plans. dailywire.com/Knowles. We will see you in the member block.